In this video, I'm going to show you how I vibe coded this AI app from scratch in 10 days. Hyperblock.dev is my AI blockchain explorer app with fully integrated Stripe payments and uses OpenAI's API on the back end. The app uses React on the front end with a beautifully styled user interface with all the functionality that you could need. I was able to achieve this look with around 10 to 20 prompts asking for a futuristic look and then asking for simple tweaks like a more defined header and a subtle gradient background. Keep in mind, I didn't write or edit a single line of code in this project, and it has over 60,000 lines of code, 62,393 to be exact. However, I did make design and implementation decisions mainly by asking the model how they would implement certain parts of the app and approving the ones I was most keen on. At this point, it's worth mentioning the tools I used to vibe code hyperblock.dev because it's an important part of the process. You might have heard of Cursor, which is a widely used AI-powered code editor which I haven't actually tried and might be worth taking a look into. For this project, I use VS Code, which is the most popular code editor, along with the extension Microsoft Copilot. The Copilot extension allows you to use any model they support, and the agent setting allows it to read and modify files, perform command line tasks, and do pretty much anything you need it to do. They support all of the most recent Anthropic models, Google's Gemini models, and the most recent OpenAI models like GPT 5.1 Codex, and my favorite GPT 5.2. Now let's talk a little bit more about this project. The core idea it solves is that LLM models like ChatGPT can't actually talk to the blockchain by themselves. When you ask ChatGPT why a transaction reverted, or even just basic questions about an address or a smart contract, the best it can do is scrape a block explorer like Basescan and give you the information available from any links you provide it with. The better way to use LLMs for debugging blockchain data is to use the Copilot agent and prompt it with your RPC URL. However, this usually takes multiple tries and often several minutes for a simple response. Hyperblock.dev fixes that. The backend builds an agent workflow tailored to your prompt and fetches blockchain data using a step-by-step approach. First, it classifies the prompt with an address or transaction hash given as context. Then the LLM chooses from a list of around 30 custom tools that talk to the blockchain depending on the intent of the user's prompt. Each tool has its own set of RPC calls that it makes, with conditional variables set to extend each tool as needed. Then the backend feeds both the context and RPC data back into the LLM for it to generate the final response that's sent to the user. This agent was entirely built by AI, and it would have been way too complicated for me to design myself. So if you are on the edge about taking the plunge into vibe coding, or if you are already a seasoned developer looking to build something even more impressive than you could have by hand, it doesn't hurt to give it a try.